The Mafia boss never knocked, people opened doors before he reached them, they stood when he entered, they lowered their eyes when he spoke. So when he quietly walked up the worn wooden steps of his assistant's tiny apartment on a sunny Saturday afternoon, he expected nothing more than a quick conversation before his wedding the following week. Instead that he heard a little girl's voice through the cracked door. "Daddy, don't worry. We can eat tomorrow." Silence, then came his assistant's shaky reply. "No, sweetheart. Daddy already ate at work." The Mafia boss froze. That he knew that was impossible. His assistant hadn't eaten at work, because he hadn't eaten at all. The man everyone believed was living a comfortable life was lying to his own daughter so she could have the last bowl of soup. The boss slowly lowered the expensive wedding invitation in his hand. Everything he believed about loyalty changed in that moment. Before we continue, if you believe true leadership means taking care of the people who stand beside you, please like this video. Leave a comment telling us where you're watching from, share this story with someone who believes kindness still exists, and subscribe to the Kindness Legacy for more unforgettable stories where compassion changes lives. The Mafia boss's name was Lorenzo Bellini. To the outside world he was a feared businessman whose influence stretched across the city. To the people closest to him, he lived by one rule: family came first. His personal assistant, Marco Rossi, had worked beside him for 11 years. Marco never complained, never asked for favors, never arrived late. If Lorenzo needed someone at 3 in the morning, Marco was already waiting outside with the car running. He knew every schedule, every meeting, every birthday, every medication Lorenzo's elderly mother needed. He was more than an employee. He was trusted. At least that's what Lorenzo believed. A week before the wedding, Lorenzo realized Marco had looked exhausted. His suit hung loosely, dark circles surrounded his eyes, yet every time Lorenzo asked if something was wrong, Marco smiled. "I'm fine, boss." Lorenzo accepted the answer, until that Saturday. He had decided to personally deliver a wedding invitation that he wanted Marco to attend not as an employee, but as family. The apartment shocked him, paint peeled from the walls, the hallway smelled of old pipes. Children's shoes sat beside the door, patched together with tape. Inside, Marco's daughter carefully divided one bowl of vegetable soup into 2 smaller bowls. She quietly pushed the larger one toward her father. Marco gently pushed it back. "I'm full." The little girl smiled. "You're always full." Lorenzo understood immediately. Marco had been skipping meals for weeks, not because he lacked discipline, because every dollar went toward medicine for his daughter, Sophia, who needed expensive treatment after developing a chronic heart condition. Marco had hidden everything. He refused to ask for help. Lorenzo quietly stepped away before they noticed him. He sat inside his car for nearly an hour. His wedding was scheduled in 7 days, more than 2,000 guests, luxury flowers imported from Italy. A reception costing millions, and yet, the man who had protected his business for over a decade couldn't even afford dinner, for the first time in years. Lorenzo felt ashamed. The next morning the wedding planner called. "The final payment is due today." Lorenzo answered calmly. "Cancel everything." She laughed. "I thought you were joking." "I'm not." Within hours, newspapers reported the city's most extravagant wedding had been cancelled. Rumors spread everywhere. People guessed betrayal, scandal, business conflict. No one knew the truth. Instead of paying for crystal chandeliers and fireworks, Lorenzo transferred the entire wedding budget into a new employee family trust. Every worker received full health insurance, emergency housing assistance, education grants for children, and medical support for immediate family members. Marco discovered everything only after receiving a letter approving Sophia's treatment in full. He rushed into Lorenzo's office with tears in his eyes. "Boss, you did this?" Lorenzo smiled quietly. "No. You earned it years ago." Marco lowered his head. "I never wanted charity." "This isn't charity," Lorenzo replied. "It's responsibility." Months later Sophia successfully completed her treatment. She slowly regained her strength. On the first day she returned to school, she carried a small handmade card. Inside she had written only one sentence: "Thank you for helping my daddy smile again." Lorenzo kept that card inside his desk for the rest of his life. Years later, business journalists often asked him why his companies had such extraordinary employee loyalty. He always gave the same answer: People protect leaders who protect people. Eventually Lorenzo married in a much smaller ceremony surrounded only by close family and friends. When guests complimented the simple celebration, he smiled. The first wedding would have been beautiful. He looked at Marco and little Sofia laughing together nearby. But this was worth far more. If this story touched your heart, please write "People Before Money" in the comments. We'd love to hear from every member of the Kindness Legacy family. Sometimes, the greatest leaders aren't remembered for the wealth they accumulate, but they're remembered for the lives they quietly change, and sometimes, canceling one celebration creates thousands of reasons for others to celebrate. If this story inspired you, please like this video, share it with someone who believes real leadership begins with compassion. Leave a comment below, and subscribe to the Kindness Legacy for more emotional stories where kindness, loyalty, and humanity change lives forever.